And Jay, thanks for the reminder. No, we do need to link up and find a time to play some Diablo 3 together. You as well, Fuego. No getting out of this one, buddy. Um, yeah, I don't like it. I do buy a lot of digital, but I still buy a lot of discs as well. I mean, I don't really have much to add to the conversation in terms of the criticism. I mean, it is just a blatant effort to um at least take away ownership away from the consumer. This is why I'm so ticked off that Microsoft has just stepped on their dick over and over and over again regarding Xbox. Um, because Xbox kept PlayStation honest. Um, the Xbox 360 and the latter half of the life of the PS3 was one of the best times in gaming. I mean, it was like on par with the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis because Xbox was so successful in North America, South America, and Australia, not necessarily in Europe and Japan, but they were successful enough in those markets that Sony had to stop being a bunch of arrogant bastards and, as cheesy as it fucking sounds, be pro consumer, pro gamer, if that makes any sense. Um, now their dominance is so widespread um, that they can just go back to the way they were at the beginning of the PlayStation 3 era, just complete bunch of arrogant dickheads and just nickel and dime and be as anti-consumer as they want to be. Um, it's it's definitely a bad sign for the future. The omens are not good on that one. I mean, at this point, you really can't make an argument for saving money because server and data center costs are skyrocketing due to the RAM and storage shortage. Um, Blu-ray discs, I mean, the factories are there. The factories have been streamlined. The format has been perfected to the point where they're inexpensive to produce. And really, the biggest cost is actually to third-party publishers on platforms who are paying the licensing fees and the printing fees to Sony. And actually, Microsoft too, because Sony owns Blu-ray. They own the format. Um, and so I don't buy that the cost explanation. The there was that quote unquote study that was kind of exposed a few years ago where they said, "Oh, 90% of games sold are digital now." But what it that didn't include is the games that were only digital. And so out of the games that were both available via digital and disc, there was no numbers on that, no numbers reported, no study on that. I mean, it was a bad piece of a statistics that was basically used to lie. So I don't agree with it. I don't like it. I think it's going to make things worse. Um, it and frankly, this all goes back to Microsoft stepping on their dick. Because if there was a fairer playing field, because again, there's no situation where PlayStation isn't winning. Okay, Xbox has no presence in Europe. Xbox has no presence in Japan or Eastern Asia. China's an opening, a market that's beginning to open up in a lot of respects. No presence there, but there was enough of a presence in North America, South America, Central America, um, uh, Australia, um, that it kept Sony honest, and there's nobody to keep Sony or Nintendo honest anymore. So yeah, that's that. I'll stop ranting. You guys are here for this terrible gameplay. Who am I to deny you what you came for? You fine folks, you. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, no. Most recently, yeah, the headlines where they were deleting the movies, um, which is yeah, that's fucking bush league bullshit. Um, in the grand scheme of things, those licensing fees are pennies on the dollar or pennies on the euro. It's nothing. Um, yeah, it's Legend. We are raising the skull and crossbones, and I can't. I mean, there was a time where I did that quite often, um, and I think we're coming full circle. I mean, I I understand that you know that we are moving to a more digital future across the spectrum, but it makes no sense at this point um, to just abandon the disc format. Um, Not only from a cost perspective, because that doesn't hold water, but also internet speeds worldwide are still not good enough, still not fast enough. There's not enough cable ran worldwide for an all digital future to take hold insofar as much as these corporations would like. You think in the USA, what comes to mind? You know what comes to mind for me? Big time coastal cities that act as worldwide internet hubs. The further you get into the interior, the less your internet speeds get. You try to game or internet on satellite internet? Holy Christ. I tried that. I tried it in Afghanistan. It was shit. It doesn't work. I don't give a goddamn if it's through Starlink or any of these other satellite offerings. It doesn't work. And I mean, the internet speeds here in the US are so uneven, and some of them are still so slow. I don't know how you sell that to customers purchasing a console that's going to cost $1,000, or at least $800. It will not be less than 800. I don't know how you sell that to a customer who has to spend days potentially, or at least a day, to download an entire game. And the games just keep getting bigger too. The texture packs, the music, the uncompressed music. I mean, it just keeps bloating out. Uh, you hear the reports of the Call of Duties and all these other AAA games, just taking up people's hard drives. I mean, it's going to backfire, and it's going to backfire sooner than they think. And then they're going to have to put their tail between their legs and fix the problem. So there will not be enough money flowing in to make the next generation of consoles profitable enough, sheerly because there's just not enough bandwidth and speed currently to support the foundation of an all digital future. Um, okay, yeah, Raven, you're right. You're right. You're right. Hanzo, I think the console industry is going to crash. PC will be fine. Um, yeah, I mean that's a part of it too. That's absolutely a part of it. That's absolutely a part of it. Yeah, yeah. So it's a multifaceted thing. It's a multifaceted issue. I wish it were different. I wish Microsoft, way back when, had not stepped on their own dicks constantly. Um, this AI bullshit bubble. I mean, people have their heads up their asses, and you see the headlines. Oh, we fired everybody. These AIs, and really, all they are ask and recall models. I mean, they're very smart. I'll give them that. And the image generation is getting scarily good, but ultimately these things don't necessarily think. They can't really act on their own volition very well, unless you're paying the absolute highest price for the absolute uh, bleeding edge models. But yeah, it's a shit show across the board. and it will come back to bite Sony. It'll come back to bite Microsoft. Nintendo kind of does their own thing. They had the cartridges. I don't think they're going to get away from that. Um, I don't think they see themselves in competition with Sony or Microsoft or Steam or anything of that nature. They're just going to kind of continue to do their own thing. The Switch 2 is not going to have a successor for quite some time. There probably will be a digital Switch, but they'll stick with those carts. But Nintendo has been an arrogant bunch of assholes forever. Okay, I mean, you would have thought the N64 and the GameCube, and bless their souls, I love those consoles, I love those games, but you thought it would teach them a lesson. Nope, nope. They sat on their war chest and just held steady and held firm, held strong, uh, an ever tightening grip on on their mindset. And unfortunately, they came out of it. I mean, you could say Nintendo's winning right now. I mean, the Wii worldwide sold. I mean, so incredibly well. Nintendo has more money than God. The Switch sold incredibly well. The Switch 2, the sales are improving. Um, but yeah, no, all right. This will be the third time I said, yeah, I'll get back to the game. All right, Jay, we can continue this conversation offline. Hanzo, same with you. Xanatos, I appreciate it. Um, Raven,